This is the Mazda CX-5. It's a compact crossover. Here in the Philippines, it competes with the likes of the Subaru Forester, the RAV4. The CX-5 is one of the smallest crossovers in its class. It is smaller than the RAV4 and the Forester, and definitely a lot smaller than the Sportage and the CRV. Unlike the Sportage and the RAV4 though, the CX-5 is offered with a diesel engine. In this class, only the Tucson, the Sportage, and the CRV are offered with diesel engines. Here in the Philippines, it comes in 4 variants. This is the base model. It has a gas engine and it sells for 1.7 million. The diesel variant is the top of the line model and it sells for 2.295 million, which makes it the most expensive in its class. Exterior. The CX-5, like all Mazdas, is a very sleek and classy looking car. It features Mazda's updated Kodo design language. The front end of the car looks very aggressive. It's wedge shaped. The headlamps are more recessed than the previous model, and then there's this sharp ridge over the headlamps, which makes the car look like it has furrowed brows. It has LED headlamps with daytime running lights. When you view it from the side, it looks a lot more sleek compared to the Forester and the RAV4. The CX-5 is also smaller than the RAV4 and the Subaru Forester. This base model comes with 17-inch wheels. The top of the line comes with 19s. Aside from that, the base model and the top of the line look almost identical, at least on the outside. You have 3 engine options for the CX-5. This base model comes with a 2-liter naturally aspirated gasoline engine. It produces 154 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 200 Newton meters of torque at 4,000 RPM. There's also a 2.5-liter gasoline variant, which produces 187 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 252 Newton meters of torque at 4,000 RPM. And then there's the diesel variant. It's a 2.2-liter turbo diesel engine. It produces 175 horsepower at 4,500 RPM and 420 Newton meters of torque at 2,000 RPM. There's only one transmission option for the CX-5, and that is a 6-speed automatic. This may be the base model, but it definitely doesn't look like it. You get more refinement from the base model CX-5 than the top of the line Sportage. You get power adjustable seats, you get plenty of soft touch materials on the dash, you get aluminum accents, you get dual zone climate control. The steering wheel is covered in vinyl, which almost feels like leather. On the top of the line variant, it is leather covered. The CX-5 comes with a 7-inch floating infotainment screen. It is a touchscreen, but the touch function is disabled when you're going over 10 kph. It has Bluetooth, it has navigation, but it doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Overall, the CX-5 has the nicest interior in its class. But it is also worth noting that it is a lot less spacious compared to the Forester, the CRV, and even the RAV4. It is one of the smallest crossovers in its class. Space at the back is adequate. You also got leather seats. You get 2 aircon vents. And you get a padded armrest with 2 cup holders and a tray and 2 USB ports. Legroom is pretty good. Headroom is also quite decent for the size of the car. I'm about 5'8" and I have decent headroom. You have 2 aircon vents, but you don't get aircon controls here in the back. Because of the sleek and sloping design of the rear, cargo space is a bit compromised compared to the competition. It has 30 cubic feet of space with the seats up and 59 cubic feet of space with the second row seats down. The CX-5 feels like an expensive car to drive, which is expected considering the price. Noise insulation is pretty good. It is very quiet inside the cabin. The vehicle has very light steering, which stiffens up on the highway. It has electronic steering. This variant doesn't have adaptive cruise control, and it doesn't have lane keep assist. It has a start-stop function. When you're at a complete stop at a traffic light, the engine will automatically shut off to conserve fuel, and then when you step on the gas again, the engine will start. This base model has a reverse camera. Okay, if you do buy the CX-5 locally, you get Mazda's Reygan 3 package, which is basically free service for the first 3 years or the first 60,000 kilometers, whichever comes first. You get free oil changes, you get free fluid changes, you get free brake pads. That's a lot of savings for the first 3 years. One thing that has to be noted is that the CX-5's start-stop function requires a special battery, which apparently you can only buy at Mazda, and it's quite pricey. Likes and dislikes. Likes. Number 1, I think it looks good. Looks are of course subjective, but I think it's the best looking in its class. And I think a lot of people will agree with me on this. It looks sleek, it looks classy, and it looks premium. Number 2, I think it has the best interior in its class. Even the interior of the base model CX-5 looks better than the top-of-the-line Sportage and the top-of-the-line Forester. Number 3 is Mazda's Reygan 3. Now, I think this only applies for buyers here in the Philippines, but if you buy the car locally, you will get free service within the first 3 years or within the first 60,000 kilometers, whichever comes first. As for my dislikes, number 1, there is no Apple CarPlay and there is no Android Auto. Number 2, it is smaller than the competition. It doesn't have as much interior space as the Subaru Forester and the Kia Sportage. And number 3 is the high price. This base model sells for 1.73 million, which is almost the same price as the top-of-the-line Forester. And the top-of-the-line Kia Sportage, which is a diesel. The top-of-the-line diesel variant of the CX-5 is also more expensive than the competition. It is more expensive than the diesel CRV, and it is way more expensive than the diesel Tucson. Number 4, it doesn't have adaptive cruise control, which is forgivable for this base model, but even the top-of-the-line diesel doesn't have adaptive cruise control. The gas variants of the CX-5 have stiffer competition. I think the Forester 2.0 IS is better equipped than the base model CX-5, and they sell for about the same price. The diesel variant of the CX-5 has fewer competition. There aren't a lot of compact diesel crossovers in the market. There's the CRV, the Tucson, the Sportage. It is only slightly more expensive than the CRV, but it offers more refinement. Overall, the CX-5 is a pretty good vehicle. It doesn't offer the best value for money, but if that's something that you can gloss over, then the CX-5 is probably for you.